Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street into a video today. I haven't done one for a few days. So Verasity, VRA on the exchanges on our radar today. A couple of things that I picked out. One in particular, very good news here. So being added to the crypto.com exchange finally. Seeing this on there, which is brilliant, with a USDT pairing. Sorry, USDT. I think I said that right. Now that happened a few days ago. We didn't indeed see a take up over those last couple of days, as we did with most of the market as well. It's almost in tandem with many other things, but for sure we'll go to that in the chart momentarily. But I thought I'd bring that to the attention for those that didn't know. Really good to see it on even more well-known exchanges. Of course, I think we're still waiting for the Binance introduction. Who knows? That might happen this year. We thought it might have been on the cards towards the latter stages of last year, but it is quite difficult for tokens to be added to exchanges. Some take longer than others, but for sure, wow, wouldn't that be great to see on Binance and just get a bit more oomph behind it, as they say. Crypto.com is obviously a fantastic exchange, fantastic wallet, and many other really cool services on there. I've got the Visa card personally, getting all those Crow tokens. So really cool to see them on there. And the other piece here, I won't go into massive detail because we kind of cover this in most videos anyway as a kind of like a topic. But what's really good, so ESI, for the number of years that I've been involved in like esports partnerships, is a really big title publication in the gaming industry. And one thing's for sure, in my opinion, and something that I personally am trying to do, and others are certainly in the industries as well, is to try to bridge that gap between traditional gaming and blockchain gaming. Now, there's obviously a bit of a difference in the sense that in most of them, you've got this like play to earn mechanism now on blockchain. And to be fair, most traditional esports games or where you're in tournaments and things, you do have a chance to win prize pool money. But in general, I guess like the general public wouldn't have really been able to make money off playing games. Now, I'm sure down the road, we will have maybe a change of that in some of the traditional games, but because it's kind of like its own genre, really, isn't it? So we got the Galaxy Cup, which we covered in previous videos, that Veracity or VRA Esports are covering. The ability for us to even view to earn. Can you believe it? We can literally sit here and earn rewards, which can then be converted into tokens and thus currency. Absolutely insane times. If you're a gamer or if you like watching games, which I do every now and then. I do like watching esports. It's been in my blood for many years now. So yeah, watch to earn, play to earn. It's gonna be so cool, especially when the metaverse and stuff opens up. These awesome tournaments that you can just sit yourself in a seat in a virtual arena or something. It's gonna be really good. So do check this article out. It's very much what you'd expect, but again, kind of touching on the point that Axie Infinity itself, for example, is not a traditional esports game, but the fact of the matter is it's going to be played significantly enough for it to become one. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, esports is about the aspect of tournaments and interaction and engagement around the world, no matter what the game is. So it's going to be really cool developments over the next few years for sure. And of course, Veracity plays its part, not just with the viewing system that we've gone into in previous videos about VRA Esports, but also this aspect of ad fraud. In esports, advertising is an absolute goldmine. So there's a lot of money being flown in and out of this kind of genre and industry. And VRA Esports, as well as Veracity, obviously, are doing a great job behind this, using blockchain technology to inform everyone about the validation, the prevention of fake views, bots, and ad fraud, as we say here. That where it comes in with the proof of view, POV, and all the things that they've been doing the last couple of years with patent. So really cool, guys. It's definitely a project that I'm trying to increase my position on every time I see a drop. And on that note, let's actually jump into the chart here. Couple of key points. First of all, please do make sure you smash that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. We do a variety of topics here on the Whales of Wall Street channel. So currently floating just under 2 cents. This is the marker I've literally been waiting a few days for now. It's funny because you sort of sit there going, is it actually going to come down? And you might have a little panic and you might jump in. But I was literally waiting for this. I'm still waiting personally to see if we might test these lower regions again of maybe 1.7, 1.8 cents. So I do have a buy order in around that point. And just to be clear, it's roughly, I think it's 1.79 something. It's roundabout here. I don't expect it to go too much lower. It might do. It might start testing these areas that we saw back here in January, which is the slightly lower regions of 1.7 cents. But for now, that is my first sort of area of buying. Will I be trying one for a bit higher? Possibly. I might go in at 187. I will decide that probably later today. So very much around that region as well. Of course, you've got this very nice flowing wave pattern here. But what's happened, as we've covered in most assets, this big 3, sometimes 4 months approach of a downward trend to try and find this new bottom. And what we've seen here, which is absolutely fantastic, throughout the last stages of January, and was sort of trickled through into February as well and into March. We've had these very nice touch points down to here. Clearly, at the moment, we're trying to find support, which we haven't seen back since last August. Since that August period, we had absolutely brilliant fluctuations up to the upside. And actually, to be fair, if you pull yourself back even further, to the earlier stages of 2021, you do see some good points hitting around that area. So what's happened is we've had the big overpurchasing like we've seen on most assets. It's been pulling itself down. What's really interesting is its retraction. It came back down here when we had big Bitcoin leveraging failures on the 24th of February. Literally shot straight back up, which is absolutely fantastic to see. It shows great confidence in the project. But if you remember, it was probably a few weeks back now, we drew in this trend line. Is when we hit this area here, and we did say that I'm not saying this any chart's going to follow the lines we put in there. What I mean is you kind of looking for a real price of Verasity. So when you've got these overpurchases, people go, oh, it's going to the moon, it's never coming back. It always comes back because you've got to understand the life cycle of the projects. We're very early still with Verasity. I mean, albeit it's been around for a couple of years now. It's the fact of the matter is we need to identify the real price. And I just feel like we're on the last stages of the bottom areas. That's why I've got my market back down here at this sort of 1.7 mark. I do think actually, to be fair, 1.87 cents is quite a respectable position to put in. But look at this. It's very much playing out as we think it will. And I'm not saying that it won't come down to these lower regions, but you're at least starting to get more of a funnel approach to this as to where we might be going. I do think in a lot of these assets, unless something major happens with a full, further with narratives around the world and market crashes and stuff like that, we're on a good path. And even if we do get some big moves down, like we've seen before, I do think it's going to retract itself quite quickly as it has done as well. So we're still in a selling mode with Verasity, right? But what's really intriguing is we're just seeing a little pattern off here of purchasing, which, as I said, with the crypto.com exchange listing has helped with that for sure. But these volumes are so small, and this is repetitive across a multitude of asset charts right now, which is really indicating to me right now that people are sort of sitting there going, I'm going to put some in still, but I'm still being very cautious. People aren't going mental like they were before. I think they're just waiting for things around the world to calm down a bit or see what's going on. So these are good DCA opportunities, dollar cost averaging, which means that you basically put in positions as you go down, and similarly on the way up in terms of selling as well. So as we're in the selling pattern right now, obviously we're going to focus on the selling. And that's where I use my indicators here on a multitude of different areas. Got the MACD here, which is not quite switched over. It's very narrow, very narrow. So again, back to that cautious point. Could it bounce off, or are we going to see some sideways trading for a bit? And in that sideways trading, doesn't always mean that it's going directly in a sideways fashion. If we're in the selling mode, you'll probably see it trickle down, but not in a really quick momentum, more over like a few days or maybe even a week or two. So I do anticipate, hopefully, to try and grab some more at that 1.7 cents mark, as I mentioned before. And the other RSI indicators here, so I personally use the 14, 28, and the 90. Don't ask me why they've messed up and gone in different orders, but you can at least see the colors, right? What I'm intrigued with right now is indeed the 90-day. Very, very beautiful sweet spot at the moment. Not as high as it was in previous month, the last couple of months. So it's really nailing down and being quite consistent. Then I look at my 28-day and I'm thinking, well, actually, this is quite stable as well. It's had a bit of, I wouldn't call it volatility. It's not a massive amount of difference. But again, it's coming back down to that sort of 42, 40 mark on the 28-day. So I'm really excited to see if this pulls out. And on the 14-day, from a 2-week perspective, bang on the 43. I always like to enter around that 42, 40 mark and then wait to see if we come down any further, like we did back down here. I mean, look at these, 35. Brilliant. Some assets were going mental, if you remember, in January. Some were sitting at like 26, 28. And I hadn't seen that for such a long time. So, in my opinion, it is stabilizing, and it doesn't look massively much so, but it is stabilizing. We've had these lower regions. We've gone up, way up. We've pulled ourselves back down, but we haven't pulled ourselves back down to these regions, and they're now sitting pretty in the middle. This is why I like this kind of area, as in a cautious fashion as well. It's really important to understand that you don't just go, oh, I've just been paid, I'm going to chuck my load of money in there. Obviously, it's not financial advice, it's my opinion and what I've learned over the last few years. Merely, I'm just going, cool, I'm waiting around this area. If it comes any lower, I will have a buy order in. And that's the beauty of the game, because then you're getting these lower points, you're reducing the risk of it coming down further, but also anticipating, not stupidly, that it might come down lower. So this is how you play it. You can never predict this at the moment. Anything could happen. Tomorrow they might make another crazy announcement in the world and the whole thing flops. You just don't know. So anything is possible. But that's where I am going with Verasity now over the next few days. I'm just holding out. I will definitely probably put one in 1.87 cents, actually, to be fair. But yeah, let's see how this plays out. Let us know what you're doing with your Verasity. Of course, on the week here, we're up just about 1%, which is understandable because it's nice take up. Didn't quite get as high as this last one here on the 1st and 2nd of March. This is why I'm thinking we're not quite ready for those areas fully yet. And that's why I think we'll come back down to these regions. Still up on the year, but the others are still quite red. I want to see this 3-month one diminish, but that is indeed going to take a good couple of months for sure. Almost like a mirrored effect, really. And the same for the month as well. It's not looking great, but then that is because we did have a big, nice tail up here and it was way too quick. And now we're coming back to consolidate and see where we should be. So probably still at least, maybe till at least the end of March, we might be seeing still a gradual small placement downwards. But I feel like we're hopefully coming to the end very soon. Guys, let us know what you're doing with Verasity. That's going to wrap that video up here right now. We are going to jump into a few others later today. I've got a few things to do. So thanks very much for watching, guys. We will indeed see you in the next Verasity video. Bye bye.